good night to you. And how are you doing? I missed you last week. Um, I'm hoping that you were having a good week. I know, of course, you were disturbed because the teachers were on strike. You notice I got some nice marks, and I'll hold all of those. I'm going to remember them. I've taken lots and lots of pictures, so I'm going to remember these because this is what is care under the PPP. Teachers being out there in the sun for what, 22 days? Um, Teachers being victimized, teachers being threatened, teachers being harassed by members of the police, the Guyana police force, as some persons would say, by members of the Guyana political force. Um, the MPs being denied entrance to functions when they were issued with information, with invitations. And so that is care under the PPP. That's care under the PPP. You know, um, last week, I want to thank my co host, Mr. Dennis Chikaran, for hosting the program so ably for me. I was um, otherwise engaged. It's not that I don't love you. Don't get that. Don't get. Let me say that. It's not that I don't love you, but I had an exam, so I couldn't. I could not have been here with you. But I want to thank him so much because from the reports I got, the job was well done. And so from time to time, when I can't be here with you because we don't want to leave this slot blank, I'm going to have Mr. Dennis Jaikaran, a brother of mine, who would be able to host the program. So let me start off by saying good night to all of you. Good night to all of you. Kali Dread, good night to you. Winston Henry, good night to you. Norma Jones, good night. Winston Henry, I said Winston Henry before. Well, a special good night to you, Winston. And everybody else who's watching here. Andrea Jackman, good night to you. And of course, I want to say good night to um, Linda Campbell, good night to you. Donnet Booker, good night to you. Well, if I start calling names, y'all gonna put me in trouble. Gladys Passad, good night, good night, good night to all of you. Joyce, good night to you too. Um, it's good to be here again. Let me say that with you. Yvonne Rodriguez, I don't want to leave you out from Barbados. Good night. So we're all here. Alexis is here too from Barbados. So good night to all of you. I want to extend birthday wishes to all those who would have celebrated their birthdays between last Wednesday to today. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you. And I know that God will continue to bless you and that you're going to be given the kind of strength and patience and tolerance to deal with this wicked government that we have to deal with. You know, saying you care is one thing, but actually caring is another thing. And we've seen that coming from the PPP, where they talk about caring, but in actual fact, they just don't care. And it's just because they know word, or they know many words, that they talk about care. And so last week we looked at education in crisis. And I want to say to you that education is still in crisis. It is still in crisis. The very people who were taught by teachers are the ones who are hating teachers at this time. Could you imagine? I know my grandparents would say ungratefulness is worse than witchcraft. And this is what we have here, some very, very ungrateful persons we have in Guyana. And quite a lot of them are holding very high paying jobs. Quite a lot of them are sitting in the seat of government and they are just wicked. Let me say it just that way. So, for those persons who would have celebrated their birthdays, I went off there. Continue to enjoy your birthday. It's a whole year that you have to celebrate. So continue to celebrate. Continue to be thankful that you were able to see 365 days around the circle because, there are many other persons who weren't able to complete that cycle. So be thankful to God, even if you did not have gifts or receive gifts, even if you did not get to do your hair or your nails or get a haircut for the gents or a new pair of shoes or trousers. Just be thankful that you have life. And of course, we would have had some persons who lost their loved ones, and we want to extend to you our heartfelt condolences. And I trust that you're going to use the memories of those persons, those loved ones who have died, to comfort you and to bring you joy. I know for sure here within the PNC family, we would have lost some real stalwarts over the last 2 weeks, and we want to extend our sincerest condolences to those family members. I know Miss Austin. Miss Austin died just a couple of days. She was buried just a couple of days ago, and so we want to extend our condolences to our family members. But let me tell y'all something, folks. We have a hope, and we have that kind of faith that as long as we remain faithful, I'm not a preacher, but as long as we remain faithful, then we are going to see those loved ones of ours. And yes, so we're going to go on to tonight where we're talking about the caring PPP. Um, that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And I want you, I am not sure I think it's going to be running on the screen, our topic for tonight. But this is what we're going to look at tonight. The care that the PPP say they care. And we know different that they don't care. But I want to say to you, um, the proverb says, I'm getting some troubles with my hair. I don't know why. But the proverb says, a bird in the hand is worth more than two in the bush. Always remember that. A bird in the hand is worth more than two in the bush. This is saying to us that what we have, we need to cherish what we have because we don't know what we're picking up. We don't know what tomorrow will bring. So hold on to what you have. And I'm saying that to say we had the coalition government in place who brought stability to this country, who brought peace to this country, who brought education reform back into place as priority. The APNU coalition government brought security back to this country. But you know what? Many persons felt that the coalition government, they were handling things too tight. And you heard comments like, oh, money is not passing, nothing in passing, this thing tight, nothing in passing. And so we couldn't deal with having a very professional Guyana police force. We couldn't deal with having a very professional Guyana Defense Force. We couldn't deal with having a very professional public service. And so we wanted renegades. And now what's happening. You're seeing the results of the choice. And like choices have consequences. And so we are now faced with the consequences of the choice that some of us made. We didn't want to be stable. We didn't want to be respected. So we got Venezuelans coming now, taking over our country. We got all kinds of people coming here, taking over our country, getting the jobs. And you know what I notice is happening, slowly creeping in? The caste system. It's slowly creeping in. It's slowly creeping in. And you look at what this government is doing. All of those those contracts that they're giving, that they're issuing. Look at the investors who are coming. And you're going to see very, very soon, you're going to see that they will come and they will have all of these hotels all over the place. And we will now have to work for them. And in some instances, they will bring their own people to work. And so we are not going to get those jobs. We will become not even second, but third and fourth class citizens in our very own country. Watch it. And if we need to be very, very smart. We need to be on the alert, and we need to speak out when we're seeing these things happening. And while we are good with having one set of people coming into this country, we're uptight with having sister CARICOM brothers and sisters coming into this country, or citizens from other sister CARICOM states coming into this country. And I refer to the Haitians. And you know what? I'm hoping that the operator might be able to pull up that. When we had the whole big CARICOM summit, just the other day we hosted the 46th CARICOM summit. And we heard the president, imagine the president, this man ain't got no shame. Imagine the president talking about the people of Haiti, that the people of Haiti are of concern to us. You sure about that? You sure that the people of Haiti are of concern to us? When you were the ones who removed and instituted visa requirements, you sure you care about these people? It's the hypocrisy for me. It's the hypocrisy for me. Always pretend that they care when they just don't care. You know, these are the people who instituted visa requirements for the Haitians. This is the same government who held the Haitians, locked them up, passed them through court, instituted large fines on them, and then dumped them out on the streets and deported, issued deportation, and then these are the very people who telling you when they come to sit at CARICOM meetings to tell you about the Haitians and that the Haitians are our people. It is very disgusting. Very, very disgusting. So, Brenda, I see you from Sophia. Very, very disgusting. And we must speak out against these things. We must speak out against it. You can't talk care and talk love and talk concern when on the flip side you're doing totally the opposite. It's okay for us to have the Venezuelans flooding here. I mean, we have nothing against the Venezuelans, but we have signed on to a treaty where we talk about free movement. And when our Haitian brothers and sisters come here, you deporting them. They have to get a visa to come here, and you give them all the runaround. But you know what? I was happy when I saw some of our Haitian brothers and sisters protesting right in front of the Marriott Hotel, because their leader was here too, protesting right in front there, so that everybody can see. Don't bother with the talks from Irfan Ali. It's fake. Fake talks. Talks to pump his chest up. But the talks are fake. And yes, these are the people who care. These are the people who care when they just don't care. And that's care under the PPP, throwing the Haitians out, deporting them, locking them up. That is care under the PPP. Instituting visa requirements for them. These people, like, the folks would say, these people don't shame out all the shame, so they ain't got no more shame. And they're just blatant with what they do. But I think tonight we're going to open and we're going to take some calls while we go through our stuff. We're going to take some calls. But I want to show you very quickly the teachers on the streets for 22 days. We're going to show you some clips of the teachers on the streets for 22 days. Teachers all across this country. All across this country. Teachers on the streets. what teachers were having out there. I'm seeing one saying Jaguar budget is a failure, something, and Efren Ali. But you know, one of the things that I liked what the teachers said when Ali was president, he knew what teachers should get. When he's acting president, it seems as if he forgot. And so this is Ali speaking. And Ali, remember, Ali was there in parliament speaking about, and what happened to the teachers? And what happened to the teachers? Aren't they important? And this is the man who talk about he cares. You know, the same man who pretend or profess to care is the same man who had the teachers on the streets all these time. The same man who pretended to care. This same very man. Y'all think this man easy? And you know what? He had his minister of education at first pumping up herself all along. But when she recognized that the teachers went 1 week, and then 2 weeks, and then 3 weeks, she got very quiet. Persons wanted to know if she was out in space. The very minister of labor, I don't know if if the operator has their pictures to put up there so we can see them. The very minister of labor, a whole lot of talks, but he became a very quiet mouse. Couldn't say anything else because they thought that teachers were going to back down. You know, they thought that. It's a whole thought they wasted. That teachers, when they felt teachers were going to back out after 1 week or 2 weeks, and then they started throwing the threats, and they felt that those threats would throw teachers off. Teachers did not budge because teachers knew exactly why they were out there. Teachers knew why they were out there. And so you had Joseph Hamilton. This man is such a, I can't even say it, such an ungrateful man. Teachers taught him, and he was out there talking about teachers what and teachers not what. This same fella, this same miserable man, this same man there. I'm sure you're seeing him on your screen. This miserable man was talking about teachers. And if it weren't for teachers, he could not have been saying the things that he's saying. Put up the fancy girl. She always had, she's always upset and worried that I'm calling her name, and she's always saying, I'm obsessed with her. So I had to let her know, I can't be obsessed with you. You're too big to be stupid. I can't be obsessed with stupidity. Can't be obsessed with stupidity. Her mother was a teacher, and that's the way she has been treating teachers. Put them side by side if you could. Let's see both of them. This young lady here, this same young lady who was crying in parliament and said somebody did her something, somebody hit her some way, something, I don't know. This very lady talk about because we care, and teachers were on the streets for 22 days in the boiling sun. Teachers from Oriala to Camarang. Teachers from Lethem to Corriverton. Teachers from Region 3 to New Amsterdam. Teachers from Blackbush, teachers from Kanji, teachers from Linden, teachers from Kokwani. They were all out in the streets for 22 days because of these wicked, stony heart people. And you know what? Even while we were out there, you know what they were saying? Let them stay there. When the sun burned them enough, they can go back into school. Could you imagine the audacity of these people? And these are the people who talk about they care. So it's care under the PPP. And when that was not enough, we had the very, very learned Attorney General. Operative, you have the Attorney General and the Chief Education Officer. Put them up for me to let people see them. The very learned Attorney General. He knows so much till he doesn't know. He knows everything. That's it. Not that one. Not that one. We got another one. Yes, that very man knows. He knows so much that he still ain't know, because the judge made a ruling, and I guess he encouraged the CEO to write another letter, send a memo out there to talk about cutting of teachers' salary. Man, I too love that judge, because when the judge dashed the summon in him to turn up in court, I was told that he cried and tried to say, oh, he was not going against the order of the court. You weren't going against the order of the court, and you sending out a memo. If we can put all four of them up there, we want to see their faces. So it's Saddam Hussein. Saddam is the man who did not pass through the regular principles or the regular routine or the route of the public service commission. In terms of being appointed, he was selected. So, he told himself that because he was selected, he got his because he was selected, he feels that he has immunity, and so he's above the law. So he decided that he was going to flout the court order. Wicked set of people. Teachers barely drawing some monies, as according to the teachers, pay today, broke today. And then you want to deduct monies from their salaries. If you do what is right, then you don't have to deduct. Teachers not going to go on the streets. If only you do what is right, you're not going to be on the streets. Teachers were on the streets. And so I want to encourage those who are not watching the program, just watch the program. Call a friend, tell a friend. Advancing the Cause is on. Let them tune in. Just share the link. Share the link. We have about 900 and something persons on the link at this time. Share the link. We're going to look at the faces of some of these folks here who you're seeing on the screen. Look at the faces of those who you're seeing on the screen. Is the K? Yes, this is K under the PPP. This learned Attorney General, went to court there and begging the judge not to listen to the case that the GTU filed. The case doesn't have merit. The case doesn't have merit, The case doesn't have merit, but yet you're asking the judge, he was asking the judge for more time, for 14 more days to present their arguments. Imagine that. The case doesn't have merit according to him, but yet you're asking for 14 days. You think you got sense, but you just didn't have any. I mean, these are the people. You have Saddam Hussein. We want them to see Mr. Saddam Hussein too. We want them to see Mr. Saddam Hussein. Another wicked one. Another wicked one. He's sitting there in the chair as chief education officer. Now you see, I am a very loving person. No, not that, not Saddam. We and if you look good, he resembled the same. If you look good, he and the other Saddam got, they got a similar, they look the same. Anyhow, let me don't go there. But I want to say that the man Saddam Hussein, who's sitting in the chair as chief education officer, was not supposed to be there. Let me say that. Because there were many DCOs, there are many ACOs, they got many education DOs, and DOs means district education officers, who are senior to him. But he was selected and he got the position. He was selected and he got the position. You see, when you get very personal with me, I will get, I will let people know the story. I'll not get personal with you, but I'll let people know how you were appointed. Not appointed, how you were selected. This is Mr. Saddam Hussein, the chief education, the chief education officer. That's Mr. You'll see him just now, Mr. Saddam Hussein. That's the chief education officer there. I'm sure you're seeing him on your screen. That's the chief education officer. This is the man who attempted to flout the court order, or he actually flouted the court order. But when he got before the judge, he begged, he cried. Like I said, I would have loved to go to Camp Street or maybe Lusignan to drop a bottle of water or two for you, boy. But you're lucky. You're not above the law. You're nowhere above the law. You're nowhere above the law. And so if there's a court order, you must obey that court order. The judge said, no cutting of the teacher's salary until the matter is settled, until he makes his ruling. Why are you sending out memo again? But I'm meeting him tomorrow. Let me say to you, the GTU will be meeting with the Ministry of Education tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll begin our first day of collective bargaining. And I hope they ain't coming there and thinking that they're going to run around the place making themselves, you know what, right? And you're going to be buying time, because they like to buy time. They like to ask for more time to waste people's time. We don't have time to waste. Our teachers don't have time to waste. So we had the teachers protesting all across the country. I'm not sure how many more pictures the operator has there to show you, but we had the teachers protesting all across the country. And that is the government who care. Outside of the teachers, we imagine our children were left without their teachers. For 4+ weeks, our children were without their teachers. And this is the same PPP who talk about caring. Our teachers were left, our children were left without their teachers. And if you noticed, I'm not sure if we have it there, but we might be able to show you. We had children on the streets protesting with their school uniforms, saying we need pay our teachers and let them come into school. We love our teachers. Our teachers care for us. Our teachers do lots of things for us. Our teachers are mothers and fathers to us. Our teachers care about us. Let our teachers come to school. We had children out there who were protesting to wear their school uniforms, but yet this wicked government did not care. They did not care, and you know why they did not care? Because many of them, their children are attending private schools. And for those who are not attending private schools, they are in the quote unquote high flying schools. So we had the bishops and we had the queens, we had Queen's College and we had Roses and we had Saints and so on. They were having full schools, while some of the very teachers there did not go to school. Some of the teachers there at those schools did not go to school. They were on the streets on the strike, you know. And so we are going to show you some more clips of those teachers striking. But you know, I was happy that our teachers in Warramadong, they were able to point out what the cost of living is like in Warramadong. One bottle of gas, $18,000. 1 pound of beef, $1,500. One packet of rice, $8,000. Yes, that's what our teachers go through in those areas. Don't talk about transportation. Don't talk about transportation. And so I am saying all of this to say that the teachers had to come on the streets because of the hardship they face. Because of the hardship they face. No, we have to do what we have to do. We have to do what we have to do. But let me say to you, that period is finished with for now, where the teachers were on the streets. And so the judge, we were happy that the judge was able to pull the government in and order them to go talk to the Guyana Teachers Union. Go talk to the Guyana Teachers Union. Go talk to the Guyana Teachers Union. And so we had the mediators there working with them, and they weren't agreeing to anything. But the judge had to let them know, this here involves our nation's children. This here involves the welfare of our teachers. So you got to be prepared to talk about it. So they're here now, and we are going to have that meeting. But I'm saying all of that to say, we could have settled these issues way back in 2020. This is 2024. That proposal spanned 2019, 2023. We could have settled all of those issues. But we've been going and coming and going and coming and waiting. They were waiting for time and buying time and all kinds of things. But let me say to us, our teachers have returned to school today, and we are going to be having those talks with the Ministry of Education. And of course, we will ensure that whatever we do there, our teachers' welfare will be first and the foremost. I can say that to you. Our teachers' welfare. And so when we go there tomorrow, of course, we are going to have timelines to all that we sit down there to do, which will come out in the form of the TOR. It will come out in the form of the terms of reference under which we will abide. So you'll have the timelines there. But our teachers have returned to school, and I'm sure our parents are happy that their children have been able to return to schools. But again, care under the PPP. Let's take a look at this one. This is care. You know, there are times when you have to, the other one, there are times when you have to rehash. And unless we remember our history, then we wouldn't know where we are going. And so this is one of the times that we have to rehash. We have to let you know what is care under the PPP. Care under the PPP. Care under the PPP.
Why you gotta break it up? You don't have to break it up. You don't break the nose, man. Oh my God.
This here under the PPP, look at that. A young mother with children. That's what she had to stand up to watch. Her home being demolished. Everything in her shop being destroyed. Heartless people did that. And that's care under the PPP. That's how much they care. My fellow citizens, near and far, if we don't allow these issues to guide us and to cause us to make the correct decisions, then something is wrong with us. I don't know if the operator has the picture with Miss Chevon, Chevon, who owned this home. But you'll see, and we have to remind our people of these things. We have to remind our people that these are the very people who talk about they care. And so they will come to you with, $40,000. They will come to you with $100,000. They will come to you with $250,000. That can't buy you life. That's one. That will not be able to sustain you for over a month. If you listen to our teachers in the upper mass, $250,000 is jokey money for them. And their salary is not even $250,000. So you could imagine with those little figures that I gave you, I ain't talk about oil yet. I ain't talk about the vegetables. And this is what happens to our people all across this country. This is what is happening to our people all across this country, where they have to live today for today, where they can't afford, they can't even find savings, some of them. You know, they can't get anything to save. The issue now is, what do we do? What do we do? Care under the PPP. Every day is a blackout somewhere. Every 2 days is a shutdown, Demerara Barbies. Every 2 or 3 days. That's care under the PPP. That's care under the PPP. Every other week is a drug bust somewhere. That's care under the PPP. And our policemen, they can't find who are the persons, the big fishes. They can't find them, but they're catching all the little fishes. All the little fishes they're catching. All the little fishes they're catching. But this is care under the PPP. This is care under the PPP, and you might be right. You might be right, Doreen. Good luck. Some of them don't have children, so they don't care about other people's children. That's why they had the teachers out there. Good night to you, Honorable Name of Flu Bess. Good night to you. And yes, the PPP just don't care. And so the pictures I've been showing you, that's care under the PPP. I think we have two more that we can look at. Care under the PPP. Could we? Yes, care.
Imagine a national cleanup campaign was just completed and organized by the government of Ghana. And I am standing in Durban Park, one of our heritage sites, and look at the condition of this environment. Isn't Durban Park a part of Guyana? Isn't Durban Park a place where Guyanese can enjoy recreational space? Isn't Durban Park a place being used by persons to learn to drive, to exercise, and to do so many things? So why wasn't Durban Park clean? I want to call on Guyanese. Let's come out Sunday morning at 5 a.m. and let's come and clean up Durban Park, since it is not important to the government of Guyana. It is important to us.
And so that there was Durban Park. I don't know if the operator has another picture to show us about for Durban Park, but that's there. That's Durban Park. That's Durban Park. And you know what? It is a shame that we just had a $1.146 trillion budget. And you know what we are seeing there? You know what we're seeing there? A group of people who don't care, because Durban Park was built by the coalition. So you know what they prefer to do? They prefer to have Durban Park left to the mercies of the weather, and then the wood would start crumbling, and then it fall down. And when it fall down, then they can send in their machines to clear it, and then the next thing you hear, some investor buy it. You know, Durban Park, that recreational space that you have there, where people go to exercise in the mornings and in the afternoons. Persons go there to do their driving practices. Athletes go there to do to practice, you know, and the people just go out there to relax. And that is what we're having there. That's Durban Park. It's a shame. The Minister of Sports, Youth and Culture, he has no shame. Absolutely none. As a matter of fact, the government of Guyana, they have no shame. From Irfan Ali right down, no shame. Look at the way they're having 1763, the site, that entire site there. Look at how they're having it. No shame. Look at how they're having it. Look at how they're treating the Independence Arch around there. No shame for these people. Look at what they're trying to do. Look at what they've done with all of the multilateral schools. They have no shame. Look at what they're trying to do with the Demerara Harbor Bridge. And you're seeing a pattern here. Every project that would have been done by the PNC under the stewardship of LFS Barnum, they're trying to weed it out. Anything that was done under the coalition, they're trying to weed it out. It's not good any longer. These people have no, and that's care under the PPP. Coming out of that budget, that $1.146 trillion budget, 40% of that budget is debts. Money that they're borrowing. Borrowing. Yes, Faith, they are uncaring and shameless. 40% of that budget is loans. Now, every year they're borrowing more and more monies. You know who got to pay that? Me, you, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, your great-great-grandchildren. So even the unborn ones, got debts on their shoulders that they did not create. Even the unborn ones. And this is what we're living in. This is what we're living in. This is what we have to deal with. You know, this is what we have to deal with. It's amazing how those people go to sleep at night. But you know what? The devil doesn't sleep. And they're related to him. The devil doesn't sleep. So they don't sleep at nights. Wickedness to the highest extent. And so we're going to look at another form of caring under the PPP. We're going to look at another form of
More.
caring.
I'm living in Success Squatting over 4 years. The first time when I was when we start squatting, this bush was so high. When I taller than me, I go through and we chopping and we cleaning corns in my hands and stuff. It wasn't easy to thing. We were flood out. We sleep. Your pains in my body and all these things. I was saying, come. They said, why we squat? If you apply for land and you ain't got land, since in 2002, I apply for land. I mean that now. I come and I squat. I lose my child because of this. And I come and I bring my children here. And we start squatting. We sleeping on the water and these things. They tell us come to house and we went down there. Everybody was there. They called 5 persons at a time. We said first set of 5 persons that went in. Wednesday, house ain't come in. They say, we have by Saturday to move and go on the land where they give us. Look, this is the paper. 500,000. 800. 8,000 for surveil. 3,000 for land fee. 500 for step duty. Watch at this. Then they give you watch it. Read the letter, viewers. A month to pay $250,000 a month. I'm a single parent with 6 children. You understand? I'm not working for $100,000. I'm working for less than $100,000. How can I find $250,000? I had to go borrow this money. You understand? I don't have a structure. If they left the structure that they left there, we don't build on. You understand? If you left it, it fall down. You understand? I get the document CXC. CXC. No light, no water. If you see this distance, it got back. Without no light, no water. Ocean studying. We are watching come done. I want the viewers to see the distance that we are not lying. No light, no water. You see the road system. You see when the vehicle pass. All the dust. Look, get babies. A lot of people. Always is single, mostly single parents here. Most of us is women.
My concern is that I'm living here 2 years ago. I have 6 kids, but 5 people with me. Well, these people gave land, but I didn't have a birth certificate, so they didn't give me no land. I went and got my birth certificate. Now they say they can't give me a land still till I get my ID. So I'm on the process of that. So they put me through down at the back. They say like 45 minutes to walk and go down there. I have 4 children going to school. And I wonder where it's going to be to walk from back there to come to the front here with no white light, no water, no current, how my children will study, how I get water to cook, how I look after my kids. I'm a single mother with 6 kids. I need support. I need some sort of assistance. And if they can move me from here, I don't know why they don't give me right here. Because we developed this place. This place was developed by us. It's not by them. Now they want to sell the space to people who have more money than we. And we are not human too. We have right here. We are Guyanese. We the one who put them there. Now the claim say, however we live in here, we have to go and live the same way back there. How we squat here, there's really no problem. They say they have no water, no light in the process at the moment. So what about the people who have small kids going on to the back there without water? We can't live. How we gonna cook, how we gonna wash, and how we gonna look at kids? And who don't have a vehicle to move from back to front, how we gonna move?
Yes, so that there were mothers from Sophia who were mothers from Success who were talking about the government who professed to care. Those were mothers talking about what they're doing to them. If you remember, just after the 2020 elections, they went there and they flooded those people's homes. They flooded the entire space during the night when the folks were asleep. Wickedness by the PPP. And that's care for them. All the drug busts we're seeing, that's care for the PPP. The murders we're seeing, that is care for the PPP. And you know what? rather than the Guyana police force, the officers, they got some rogue officers within the Guyana police force, right? You know that. And there's no if and buts about it. They got some rogue ones in the Guyana police force, while we have some very professional ones. Well, I could tell you, while we were out there for those 22 days, we had some rogue ones, we had some good cops who were out there. And let me tell you what, you see, when we had the CARICOM summit and they went to the Promenade Gardens, man, we hit the road there. We made the noise. The people there, some of the prime ministers and some of their members of their entourage and so on, they came there and they were looking. You know what the police force did? Whoever instructed them, they came and they placed a big canter truck in front of the barricades to block us out. But we made our mark. We were able to register our cause. And so this kind of wickedness we will have to stop it in somewhere. Yes, Rastaman, wicked, stink, and devious. Wicked, stink, and devious people not becoming of leadership. I don't know what leadership, I don't know who they think they're leading. But the day is coming very, very close. Our people, right, Brenda, our people must never forget what the PPP, what they've done to us. They did it before, during the 23 years. Paula, yes, wickedness will perish. They did it during their 23 years, and they're here again, and they're doing more. We must never forget. We must never forget the Phantom Squad that killed so many of our young men. Some of them, we can't even find them. We must not forget those days. We must not forget this dark cloud that the PPP always bring over us whenever they're in government. And so we're going to open our line for you to call. We are going to take about 5 or 6 calls. We have the time to take about 5 or 6 calls and hear your views on what transpired with the teachers, what has transpired over the last couple of days. Well, I know, they know Coretta McDonald so well, and if they have any international function, they're not going to allow me to be one of the invitees. And I don't have a problem with that. But of course, I'm going to let the world know the kind of discrimination that is being meted out to me. Not that I care. I don't want to go there to drink anything from them. Have you ever seen me at any function? I don't go to them. I don't go to associate with wicked people. We understand that the Bible talks about the wheat and the tears must grow together and so on. But I am not going to purposely go and sit with the wicked and lime with them and raise glass. And so no way. Not at all. Y'all could remember seeing Jagdi or any one of them going to any function when the coalition was in office. Y'all could remember seeing them there. No, they never used to come. As a matter of fact, I want to tell Barra Jagdio now, he should be repaying all of those monies he's getting from Parliament. Repay all, because you don't go to Parliament many days. You must repay all. All their monies you must repay. When the coalition was in office, you boycotted Parliament. You must pay those money. You must repay those monies. You're talking about GTU and who got this and who got that and who ain't got the other. Barra Jagdio, you must tell us how you got the wealth that you would have acquired. You tell us that. These people are so wicked. And our old folks would say, thief don't like see them at with bag. That's Barra Jagdio right there. That's Barra Jagdio right there. Thief don't like see them at with bag. So Barra Jagdio driving, and he want nobody else driving where Barra Jagdio, you got plenty coming up your sleeve. Plenty coming up your sleeve. So our line is open for persons if you want to call to give a comment, to say how you feel about what has happened. You have to be, you can call. Miss Samuels is there, and she's reminding us that, we got to be a fool to go and sit and dine with the devils. You don't sit and dine with the devils. And I ain't going and sit and dine with no devil. I ain't want none of the rub off on me. So the lines are open. And while the lines are open, we're going to let you know that I think it was yesterday, the DPP dropped the charges against this young man. He was a police officer. I just can't remember his name. I know that he was operative. You could find that one for me, where the DPP dropped the murder charge against this young man. He was an athlete. He was best cop, And after 6 years, we now we know the truth in this whole story, when that entire young man's future, his entire career was put on hold. I noticed we're having a call. Good night, caller, and thanks for calling.
Yeah, but I
Advancing the
just
cause.
I'm kind of into the topic, but I just call to enlighten the public that the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Public Works on Lemar Street, they already done sell out the land and the mechanisms of food, course now. So I don't know, like they're selling out all these lands around Georgetown, and nobody knew anything about it.
All the lands around Georgetown, they're selling out. All the lands.
All the land, they don't sell out public work on Lemar Street there, though. As a food court will be going to the
Oh
store.
yes. We saw that one there. We saw that, and so these
All
people.
these lands selling out, and I never got this kind of. I applied since 2003 for a house. Started up to now, I can't even get a house.
My.
Anyway, thanks for listening.
Thanks for calling, my dear. Bye bye. So this is the police officer right there. Um, we have the police officer who, after 6 years of being behind bars, I mean, come on, are we for real? This young man, was a murder charge was instituted against him. The young man pleaded his innocence. Murder charge, best cop, murder charge for him. And now after 6 years, the charge has been dropped. Now, who will compensate this young man for the mental stress that he went through? Who will compensate him for that? Mr. Eastman, yes, that's his name. Let's take another call. Good night, caller, and thanks for calling Advancing the Cause.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Coretta.
Good night to you.
I'm just calling to see what a wonderful and powerful black woman you are. You have the strength of a million men, million women, and I just want to congratulate you in for that struggle that you put up against this install regime, and keep the strength going. Keep it going, and never waver. There are some things might come your way, and this is politics. But you have to keep on fighting like a lion. Never give up.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, my dear. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. You know, I tell folks, I was telling the teachers out there that we are going to make the lions our pillows. And we did exactly that. Because 4+ weeks, it shook this government up. They didn't believe teachers could do those things, you know. But again, the first caller was saying that they're selling all our lands out. This investor and that investor. And Guyanese applying for land, and they can't get any. And let me tell you, during the 23 years of the PPP, loads and loads of persons applied for land. They couldn't get them. They couldn't get a piece of land. When the coalition got into office, we started distributing lands. And now the PPP come, and they're distributing these lands now and behaving as if, you know what? All these lands that they're issuing, now these house lots that they're issuing, oh, it was the coalition who had them backed up all the time. But we have to learn the flip side of the PPP. They are good at flipping the script. They know how to do that. So don't be carried away. Don't be distracted. Stay focused. So we want to say to Mr. Eastman, we want to welcome you again back to Open Society, and we trust that you're going to find strength from that experience that you would have gotten under the hands of the wicked PPP, that you will find strength, you know, and that you'll be able to reintegrate into society, and that persons in society would not look at you as a person who was condemned or anything like that, you know. So good luck to you, my dear, and I trust that God will continue to bless you as you embark on starting a new life. Good evening, caller. Thanks for calling Advancing the Cause.
A pleasant good night to Ms. McDonald. I just want to ask you a question. Now that you are going to meet the government with a good heart, do you have any confidence if they don't give away our wants? Do you always go back on strike? Because I know this government is not going to give out anything.
Well, you know what? Thanks for that one. The call is saying there, what are we gonna do? I know that there is, and that's a surety in the agreement that we have signed, where the judge has said if we feel at any time that the PPP is going to, if they're using delaying tactics, that we can return to the courts for recourse. If at any time we recognize that that's what they're doing, we can return to the courts. So that's one that's one plus for us. But we're going to fight tooth and nail to ensure that our teachers come out of this smiling. You still have a few more minutes that you can call in to give some of your views. And so, yes, we had their attorney Darren Wade, who took the mantle in hand, and he worked with us there. I know quite a lot of persons. They did not feel too satisfied with what came out of that. But you know what? The hard work begins tomorrow, and coming out of that hard work is where our teachers will benefit. We have another call on the line. Good night to you, caller.
Yeah, very blessed good night to you, Miss Coretta, and the rest of the Guyanese nation. Miss Coretta, I just want to remind you again, there's a queen, right? A well highly respected queen in Guyana. Because remember, Jack, you tell you got a crown. You admire the crown. See, taking out for your crown. You say, oh, why you roll as you move out the city, right? You drive and let the ice catch a fire and burn them to ashes.
You know, right?
This PPP government is so evil, my sister, that I am open and I'm calling all the Guyanese and all the voters. Nobody in the next election should vote for this PPP government. If one vote go in favor of this PPP government, that person that vote is a disgrace to this nation, is a disgrace to the family, and a disgrace and to the generation. Nobody should vote. If you look and see what they are doing, I want me to say, look what you're doing with the Exile Mobile. They say he represent the citizen, he representing the company. When people ever see a leader like that, he turning against this nation and everything. Now look what they got the Ministry of Education doing. My son, the home, he can't even go to school. I am telling you, instead of child ever go to school, he get a 40 with education. They trying to walk on line on the road, they walk on with internet and all, cell phones. The government has to realize what they have done. And I respect the teachers, and I will always respect the teachers. They need to be paid better. They need. It's a need. Another one is a need. And now God bless this nation. We are going to get there by the grace of God. And teachers, thank God for your example. And lead us, teachers, to all the rest of the citizens in this country. Y'all are a blessing. Thank God to the judge. Judge, you're a blessing. Continue to pay to the organization. Follow your example and be an example of righteousness. God bless you. I have a blessed night, Miss Magda.
You too, my dear, and thanks so much. God bless you too. And so we have to understand that we cannot continue to allow this government to do what they're doing. We have to speak out. Everybody got to start speaking out. And if we start speaking out and we start holding them accountable, then they'll understand that this time, not long time. This time, not long time. I know while we're having blackout on some side, or what they say, power outages on some end, on the other end, you're not having any water. And if you're getting some water, it brung more than they brung water in the trench. You know? What are we really doing? $1.146 trillion budget, and we can't fix it right. We can't get it right. I noticed the other day, they're doing streets. This is all about them. They so it this whole, I want to call it a sex drive with them, with streets, building streets, sex drive with infrastructure. Let me put it that way. They get orgasm from infrastructure. And you know why? Because that's where the thief in the money. That's where the thief in the money is. So they got to get orgasm with that. They're all excited about, And after 2 mornings, what? All these places you're putting up. And who going there? All these hotels you're putting up. And the regular Guyanese can't go to these hotels. The regular Guyanese can't go there. The food alone, a drink, One beverage. You can't, you a Guyanese can't buy in when you go to those all those hotels that they're putting up there. But you know, these people, again, let me say to you, is a little group who want to build for themselves empires and call themselves lords and gods over us. You remember I was talking about the caste system? That's what they want to do around here. That's what they want to do into this country and to make us slaves. Let's take another call. Good evening, caller. Thanks for calling
Hello?
Advancing the Cause.
Hello?
Good evening to you. You're on the air.
Hi, Coretta. Good evening.
Good evening,
I'm
ma'am.
calling from Bartica.
Wow.
And Coretta, I heard you just speaking about the streets and construction. It's the same thing that is happening in Bartica. Now we have some narrow roads that without the pavement, two cars can hardly pass. And now they have started a built-up construction, busy. All the streets, they want to put double pavement on both sides of the road. And two cars to pass there cannot pass. One has to drive on the
pavement
sidewalk, the pavement that they make there. And the police is telling the drivers that you cannot park on the pavement. And if you park on the road, another car cannot pass. And this is a bingo shot for the government with corruption.
Yep.
They're fighting to use this money before the time is up. And according to the MP from Region 9 who said Biscuit Road, it is the same nonsense. I don't know who are the persons that are designing these roads, who are the persons that are recommending these works, who are the persons that are signing off these roads. It is ridiculous. And to know that in Bartica, one man getting all the road contracts.
Wow.
One man, a medical doctor, is now a civil engineer.
What?
Yes. There's a nonsense that is going on in Bartica.
Thanks for calling, my dear. And
let me tell you something. The drivers, the vehicle owners are suffering. They are suffering because they got to change the tires ever so often. Today, I had to change all 4 of my tires after 6 weeks. 4 tires I had to change this afternoon. And they don't care. They don't care. The roads are doing how they feel like doing it. And nobody can say or stop anything. And it's not one man alone supposed to get these work. The people who are qualified to do these works are not getting it. Look, they want a 5-mile line road, Pataro Road. Look how long the government is taking to build that road. And the only reason that road is not being built and completed, it is because that is a coalition constituency where all the supporters for that constituency present. And if you go to Agatash and if you go to Baidarabo, where the PVP get the vote, they have a highway there. So there is a lot of discrimination going on in this region. And, you know, before I come up, I just want to commend the teachers. You know, we got to fight. Imagine in this country that is oil rich, we have to fight for what we need. We got to protest.
Yep.
And then Irfan Ali come to say now that this is what he has been talking all about. Let the process take its course. What process was there with the government?
Irfan Ali has no shame. Don't bother with Irfan Ali.
Irfan has no shame. He had no intentions of meeting with the teachers.
That's true.
And it is so embarrassing to a country like Guyana with not 1 million people that we gotta find ourselves in the court to get a settlement for teachers to have their raise of pay. All because their children, all the ministers and children and Irfan child going to private school. So they don't care about those who are in the government.
Just don't care.
And then they're talking about one councillor from Bartica, Area Ward, stood up at the mayor city council meeting to say that the government, during the pandemic, the government had paid the teachers. I didn't know that table equally. And he stand up to say that if he had the authority, he didn't pay no teacher no money. I can understand the knowledge, the kind of thinking these people got.
Well, you know what? Is a whole set of them. I saw the assistant chief education officer exams talking about teachers are cackahole teachers, and that's the level of the people. That's the level of the people.
My question to them, Coretta, who gave them the knowledge? Who taught them in school so that they could acquire such positions? Who were the persons that guided them all through the years of their life? Wasn't it a teacher?
Yep.
That guided them and ensured that they got their qualifications? These people are too disrespectful. And I hope Guyanese people wake up, especially the PPP supporters, especially the supporters from Apno who tell themselves, I ain't got time with the election, I ain't got time, I still got to work hard. I hope they wake up.
I do hope so too.
And understand that when you go to put your X there on the ballot paper, it's not for you, it's for your children, your children, your children, and generations to come. And if we go to continue with that attitude, Guyana will never move forward.
Never move forward.
Never ever move forward. So we got to change. It's we the people who put them there, and we got to get them out.
We got to remove them. Yes.
We got to get them out. And our people got to wake up and understand that this is not a B-boy time. And we got to let the PPP supporters understand who are dissatisfied and suffering now because they got a lot of them. So understand that no threat that the PPP gives to them in their constituencies can work. It cannot. The ballot is placed in the box with them and God. Nobody knows who they're voting for. So they can change their vote and they can vote sensibly.
And that's what we need to advise them to do. Vote sensibly.
And every time we have these talk show programs and these things, we have to remind our people when y'all have your talk shows, your shows on television, talk to your people, let your people understand that voting is between them and God in the box, not them and the PPP or them and APNO. And vote with your conscience, vote with based on issues.
On issues, yes.
Not who you like from who you don't like, or because it's me by, or because me mother supported for 20 years, or my grandmother is supporting them, and I come and meet them. Come on. We got to understand this, and we got to do the right thing, and we got to start educating our people and speaking to them. Let them know.
Yes, I agree with you.
Thank you very much for your time, for the time you've given me.
Thank you, my dear, and do have a good night.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. So yes, we had that call there from Bartik, and I'm happy, that we're having persons calling from all over to let us know. In Bartik, a doctor getting all the contracts, the road contracts, heater, a medical doctor plus engineer. So he doing everything. Oh, one Guyana. Call a good night to you. Thanks for calling.
Good night, Coretta.
Good night, my dear.
I'm calling in connection with this. Is there a time frame set for the negotiations with the government?
That is going to be set tomorrow. That's the first thing that is going to be looked at tomorrow.
Okay, because I have a friend that's a teacher, and they're concerned because they didn't hear anything about a time frame set. All the orders, it would end in a time, but no time frame.
Yes, that's going to be happening tomorrow. That will come out in the terms of reference tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome, and thank you so much. Yes, so there is it. We have persons calling from all around. In Bartik, and we have the same thing happening in Georgetown and some parts on the East Coast and the West Coast and so on, where you're seeing these streets are being built. you putting up a pavement, and two cars could hardly pass there. I was in Stewartville just about two nights ago. I was in Stewartville, and it's the same thing. You got a little street and millions to build this street, and two cars could barely pass on that street. But they can't pass because one got to pull up in the corner to allow the other one to pass. If you can't build proper roads, then don't build the roads. And these biscuit roads that they're building, Good evening to you, caller. Welcome to Advancing the Cause.
When I Coretta McDonald and all listeners. Coretta, I'm calling for a heads up. Now, these contract workers has to write a letter, ask them permission for renew your contract, ask them permission, the RH to renew your contract. What is people if you're really going to Guyanese people? Plus, the woman says she's a maid at the hospital.
And she has to right to ask for her contract to be renewed.
For renew all of the contract.
Wow.
The woman showing me the letter. This is what the letter state. According to what is going on, and these Indian people getting all the contracts. I tell you about Lachman Singh, Vicky, and Mice. So why is it that people ask authorization, asking for renew a contract?
We will have to do some more investigations to find out why is it that you have to, But the thing is, there should be some policy there. If you have a 1-year contract or a 2-year contract,
is that a form you used to fill? As the woman said, you used to fill the form and they used to sign it by the RHO. Then it go over to the RU, which is Peter Ramatar, whoever was the RU, and the PS. But now you got to write a letter asking for permission.
Jeez, you. Oh.
The woman showed me the letter today. I read the letter the woman had in her hand.
These people want to make us slaves in our own country. That's what they want us to do. They want to hold us. And why you think, thanks for calling there.
May I finish there,
Okay, go ahead.
Correct these things that what is going on presently. In Madi, we need some new person to come here and give people a heads up what is going on. We know in the interior, we knows nothing. Like for instance, I was in Madi today, I back in Blackwater. We know in Blackwater, 40 mile. We know nothing was going on. Nobody from APN is not coming to tell us anything. The few people on the ground, when you ask them, like they even vex you asking them. No, they're pushing people out of this party.
No, we have
what is going on?
We have to do something. We'll come there to do something. Not to worry. We'll come again. I know we were there before, but we'll come again to do something there. We'll do some walkabouts.
We need boots on the ground.
Yes, we do need
in Region 8.
We do.
Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome, my dear. Thanks for calling. So you're hearing what's happening there. One set of people getting the contracts, and they feel that this is massa days. So you just gift to persons who are close to you, and then maids and all of these persons have to go and ask for permission to have your contracts renewed. Caller, you're on. Good night to you.
We're trying to get onto the show.
Yes, you're onto the show, but you have to turn your volume down. Yes, you have to turn your volume down.
All right, thank you.
Yes. Callers, when you call, could you stay away from your phone or your television, wherever you're watching us from, because we're going to have a terrible feedback in studio. So you need to turn that down. Pete Sam, I don't know who you are, but you sound very, very stupid because Barajagdio was there as General Secretary. He was also there. Barajagdio is also leader. So you don't know what you're talking about. Relax yourself. Good evening to you. You're on to Advancing the Cause.
Hi, good evening, MP.
Good evening to you, my dear.
I so agree with that call, the last call this evening. Where is the APNU MPs You're going to wait until election time, then y'all going to come and start to walk around the place.
No, we'll ensure that you come out. Don't worry, we'll ensure that you come out. I'm going to ensure that we get this message.
The last I saw MP in Sophia.
In Sophia?
Yeah.
I know just the other day we spent about 6 weeks or more in Sophia going through every field. You know, we can't be at one place all the time. So we move from one place to the other, to this region, to that region, to the other region. But we'll ensure that we have some folks coming. We'll ensure if you don't see the MPs.
I have a problem I cannot discuss it.
No, you can't discuss it here. So I guess you can call after. Hello?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yes, I guess you can call me after.
Okay, no problem.
All right, my dear. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too.
So our people need us, and we have to go out there. We have to go out there and meet our people. And so I'm seeing my friend there, Rastaman, saying in all the African villages, the roads are the same. Slim Jims. Yes, Slim Jims, he's saying the roads are the same. Slim Jims. We're going to take 2 more calls and then we'll have to wrap it up. Good evening to you, caller. You're on to Advancing the Cause.
Good night, and how you doing?
I am doing pretty well. God is on my side.
No, we calling concerning the show. We can get it.
Yes, you're on to the show.
Okay, we calling concerning the government and the confusion and the corruption.
Yes, let's hear you.
The government is see the evil doers and the people of corruption. We have to come 2025 and kick these people out of office.
Yes, I know that. That's what we have to do.
They're getting all like if we rent in this country, we rent in. So we have no right to talk. We have no power to do anything. You know, so there is the advantage going on right now because this is an Irish nation, the fastest growing economy. And if you see the cost of living, if you see the commodities in the supermarket, if you see lawlessness, if you see the GPL, the light bill, the water bill, the phone bill, you understand? And the internet bill, whether you use it or not, you got to pay levy. So we need to come together and knock this government clean out. These banners is mafias. This is not one guy, what I say, one nation. There's nothing like that. There's mafias running this country. You understand? So we gotta come together and knock out these people. Have a great night and enjoy the show.
You too, my dear. Thanks for calling.
Yeah.
Have a good day too. Bye bye. Good night, caller. You're on.
Good night, Miss Mrs. McDonald. How are you?
We're doing pretty fine. How are you? I'm doing pretty fine. How are you doing?
I'm good. Well, why I'm calling, I'm in Brooklyn, and they had a couple came from Guyana.
Yes, you're on. We're listening to you.
And they both in the 80s, and they came for medical treatment. And they ended up spending about 6 months. And when they get back there, they called us and told us that the government took back most of the pension.
What we're going to ask you to do is to send when I get off air, you're going to send me their info so that we can follow that up for them.
They said that the person that they spoke to even told them if they come 1 more day late, they will have lost all the pension.
We're going to follow that up. If you give us the information, we'll follow that up, but we'll take that off air.
Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome, my dear. Thanks. Bye-bye. Yes, so there we have it. Persons calling in with various issues. This couple went to the U.S. for medical treatment. They spent 6 months, and on their return, their pensions were taken away from them. Good evening to you, caller. This is the last caller. Good evening to you, and welcome to Advancing the Cause.
Hello, Ms. McDonald. Good night.
Good night to you.
Yeah, I'm living on the west side, Perfect Harmony, and I quite agree with the caller that just called you from Region 8 in Sophia. we do not see no representative in perfect harmony. None, none, none. Even the last local government election, we had no people here. And please try to organize a team to walk around up to this afternoon. The PPP people in the streets, plenty, house to house, even was at my house, right? So we need to take back this country 2025.
Yes, and you're going to help us, right?
Yeah, of course.
Good. So I'm going to try to get your number. You're going to hook me up on WhatsApp and we'll talk.
All right, Miss McDonald. Okay,
good,
right
dear.
now. Just after the show, I'm gonna link with you, right?
Yes, dear. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Miss McDonald.
Bye-bye, dear. So there we have it, and that was our final call for tonight. Folks, it's always a pleasure being with you. And we've got to talk more about this uncaring government. We've got to talk about what care, when you talk about care, look at what the coalition did when they got into office. They raised the pension for the pensioners. You know how much the PPP gave the pensioners the other day from this $1.146 trillion budget? 3,000 Guyana dollars. If you're leaving Melanie to come to Georgetown and you're sick with a taxi, you have to pay that $3,000 is one way. One way is that $3,000. If you're living in South Romvelt or in North Romvelt and you have to go to the Georgetown Hospital, it's $1,500 to go and $1,500 to return. $3,000 finish. That's the kind of respect and regard they have for our senior citizens who would have given their service to this country. Damn uncaring people. And we got to vote them out. We got to vote them out. So come on, grannies, granddads, aunties, uncles, brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, cousins, get on board, get registered. 2025 November is going to be just now. Get registered, go get your ID cards. We got to vote them out. Ensure that your names are on the voters list. And for our viewers who are watching us overseas, if you want to come home and vote, if you want to come home to vote, then ensure you have your, if you have your Guyanese passport, ensure that your names are on that list. Get your families to check the list. Register and make sure your names are on the list so that you can put that X so we can kick the PPP out because they are no good for Guyana. And like my leader would always say, for Guyana to grow, the PPP must go. And so with that, I want to thank you for being here with us tonight on Advancing the Cause. I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday, for more on Advancing the Cause. Our teachers, with their slippers on the ground, they made noise. With their blows and the drums and so on, they made their mark. And thank you to our teachers. Thank you to teachers all across this country. And you know what? We had some really outstanding teachers. We had Mr. Samaru. We had Mr. Takwardine Durga. We had Mr. Jonathan Looknot. Those are three men who stood up, and they're all East Indian. And they stood up there. They stood right there, and they ensured that they made their marks. And they shepherded those teachers throughout those 4+ weeks. And you know what? Some of them were called and they were threatened. Jonathan was even victimized, but he continued to stand tall and fight the fight. We had Mr. Jilks and Vanessa Kissoon and Justin Seeley and a whole group of the folks in Linden there who had the teachers. We had the folks in Georgetown, South Georgetown there, leading the teachers there who came from the East Coast and the West Coast and the East Bank and West Bank. We had them there with the teachers, Miss Kimon Gentle and Sir Paris and Sir Leon Bishop. And we had Kenisha Headley and a whole lot of them. We had Mr. Bourne and Mark Sampson. Man, look, I can't call all the names, but thank you. We had I think it's Randy from Upper East Coast. Thank you so much, teachers, because you were able to let the PPP know that our strike wasn't about politics like they were claiming. Our strike was about survival, bread and butter. So thank you again. May God continue to bless us all as we continue to fight this good fight for justice, for fairness, for equality, and for us to be referred to as one people, one nation, one destiny in this beautiful land of ours called Guyana. Good night.